Salute to you all. The brave never fall. Self-love through freedom and connection. So feel free to connect to The Brave Never Fall on these social media platforms. If you find anything of value in this following podcast, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and support the brave and bold tribe growing one purposeful soul at a time. There are no coincidences in life. The strength you have is real. Each breath you take is a blessing. Don't give up, give more. Believe in yourself and trust yourself. How are you feeling? Take a moment to do a self-check-in for yourself. How are you feeling mentally? How are you feeling emotionally? How are you feeling physically? How are you feeling spiritually? Are you feeling balanced? Are you still journeying on an intentional, purposeful path? How are you feeling? Balancing yourself is a healthy daily practice that will reliably keep you in harmony with your entire mind, body, heart, and soul. Clear your mind. Take a moment of silence for yourself right now in the moment. You are here now. How are you feeling? Life, through experiences, situations, and relationships, will give you all the strength and knowledge you need for true empowerment. Empowerment equals building. You're building upon what you already have, and at the same time, you're stripping away things that you don't need. Empowerment gives you, as an individual, the moral responsibility and right to do what you feel is best for your life. And then that branches off to what you feel your life represents in other people's lives, and how you empowering yourself does help empower other people. And it goes on and on and on. It's like a network. We're connected through empowerment. The more empowerment you get from people around you, your support system, people who love you, the people you love, the people you care for, the people you have obligations for, the people you work with, the people you volunteer with, the people you pray with, the people you break bread with. All of these people have their own levels of empowerment as well, which is why it's important to surround yourself with people who view their empowerment not only as positive, but powerful. There's a reason why the word power is in empowerment. It is supposed to be powerful. It is supposed to be something that you can stand on, something that you can protect yourself with and protect the ones that you love with, to give you a life that is stress-free, peaceful, and happy. And when things go wrong, when they inevitably go wrong, you're good because you're empowered. You know what you can do. But we're not born with this. We have to create it. We have to build upon experiences, situations. We have to build upon who we are. We have to strip away what we don't want, what we don't need, what is overused, what is over-exaggerated, and be the best versions of ourselves. You know what you are capable of, what you know, what you don't know, how strong or weak you are. Life is about creating. We all were created by our parents. We are creations. It's our birthright to create, to build upon the previous experience, situation, relationship, and memory. Empowerment is authority, and we have to authorize ourselves to achieve, to succeed, to become what we know we are capable of. We have to generate our empowerment by reinforcing every day all of the things we are strong at, to focus on continuing to stoke our skills, to face the realities of our lives, and through discipline, grow stronger within ourselves. If we are empowered on the inside, outside we sculpt ourselves into an even stronger, more capable individual, ready for anything in life. We have the autonomy to build, redesign, and construct our own blueprints for our lives. It's our right to have the freedom to do so. Otherwise, we are allowing outside forces to hold us back, inject doubt into our minds, and ultimately leave us in a state of indefinite meaning for our lives, void of clarity. In order to gain more independence, we need fuel for the journey on our individual paths, support from those who we trust and love the most, values we can stand firmly upon, clarity and awakening of the truths of ourselves, accountability and ownership of our lives, being brutally honest about who we are. No excuses, no sugarcoating, no bullshit. To gain from life, we must gain strength for ourselves, true, unbreakable strength, free from negativity, chaos, and excuses. Positive vibes, positive energy. We have to exile our weaknesses and create, grow, and adapt our strengths. We are all capable of more. Don't give up, give more to yourself, to others, and feel empowerment as a reward. Valor on the Moonbows, Episode 4, Generating Empowerment. It's easy to build upon what we have. It's easy to focus on what we have, what we're good at, what we're skilled at. Much more difficult to look at the things that you're not skilled at, that is still shaky, that doesn't have a foundation that you can build on. Cracks in the walls, cracks in the floors, things in our soul and our mind and our body and our hearts that need attention. Things that we avoid, we overlook, we ignore because maybe it's too difficult to take on that particular challenge. Maybe now is not the right time. Maybe we don't have the support we need. Maybe we don't have the money we need. Maybe we don't have the logistics that we need. Maybe we don't have the medication that we need. There's all types of quote unquote excuses. Some more valid than others, but we are in a state all the time of having to deal with what we know is there and what is not there, what to keep, what to get rid of in our lives. When we're born, we don't have the choice. The choice is built upon us, and hopefully we have positive figures in our life, our parents, or whatever guardian or whatever church leader or whatever in your life that someone is influencing on you, a mentor, a grandparent, anything like that. If you don't have that and someone is instilling upon you values that are their values, but they haven't taken the time to really look at their lives with clarity and fix their cracks and their holes in their lives, and they're passing down that to you, which is why, there's the notion of the narcissistic mother and the narcissistic father that passes it on to their children, especially the nurturing narcissistic mother that passes it on to their children, and they cling on to this child, and this child is basically a clone of them. And it's done subconsciously. It's not like they're trying to do this. Some are. But we don't do umbrella terms with people in this sense. Some people do, some people don't. The point is that regardless if they're doing it on purpose or not, it's a thing. It's something that happens. What we pass on to our children is extremely important. It's one of the reasons why I felt like I had my awakening so early in my son's life, because I wanted to make damn sure that as he get into to the ages where he's going to be learning the most, that I wanted to make sure I was passing on good things from my life, not all the negative stuff that I thought was right. We do this all the time as human beings. We feel like things are right, and then we look back on it and we say, wow, you were really off base. That happens to all of us. It's happening to you and me right now. We make decisions every day that we think are good, and when we look back on it, it's not going to be that way. And we're making decisions that we think are bad, and you look back on it and say, I'm glad I made that decision. Which is why it's so important to stay focused on what we can generate right now, what we can create right now. Because we can't talk to our future self. We can't go back and give our past versions of ourselves advice so we can fix what's happening right now instantaneously. We don't have the power to do that. Maybe there's some alien beings out there that has some other dimension where they can shift in and out of time and they can construct their lives in that way. But we, as human beings, currently cannot do that. So we have to deal with what we have as far as being a human being. What can we control? We can control what we're doing now. We know that. How do we know that? If we choose to not eat for the rest of the day, we're living in the moment for the rest of the day on that choice. If we choose to read a book, that's our choice. We can make these choices. We're in control of these things. We have friction on the outside of things around us that distract us and can alter that decision, but we still have a choice. That's one of the most powerful things any human being can have, is a choice. And if you utilize that right, it equals creation. You're creating something for yourself if you make the choices that you're most aligned with. And that's the key word, alignment. If you're making choices that are not aligned with who you are truly, that's where you're going against the grain. Whereas if you're making choices, no matter how other people perceive it, and all the advice you get from other people, if you know this aligns with me more, it doesn't go against the grain. Suddenly it feels very smooth. It feels fine. Even though it may feel wrong. But something there is aligning. We've been conditioned as we've been raised to not do that. Do this, period. Do that, period. Doesn't matter if it's an alignment issue or not. Most people, at least when I was growing up, You didn't hear words like alignment. You didn't hear words like purpose and self-care when I was growing up. I'm 41 years old at the time of this podcast, and I can tell you that you just didn't hear that often coming from your parents to you. You heard do this, do that, period. Or else. I chose not to raise my son that way. He has options. He doesn't have many because he doesn't know what they are. But I never tell him to do one thing without an option. When he wants to eat lunch, I tell him, it's time for lunch. What would you like? And he'll come up with some choices. And if it's something he can do on his own, like, okay, you go make your own lunch. I'm empowering him to do that. I'm not saying you have to do this, you have to do that. He always has options. There are times where I don't give him the options as well, though. For dinner, he often doesn't get an option. But he's earned that because he accepted it, all the other options he had throughout the day. He knows he does have it, so he doesn't mind. He knows occasionally throughout the day there are going to be things he is expected to do. And as an adult, we are no different. When we're not at our workplace or we're not with somebody in a relationship, we get the freedom to do what we want. When you're connected with someone or a group of people, those options diminish and you kind of have to compromise. You're still empowered. You can choose who those people are. So it's always a backing up and a detachment and looking at everything as a whole. But let's think about what you don't have. Let's say that this world suddenly, which is very ironic in 2020, there's a pandemic going on. But let's say we've all seen post-apocalyptic films. We've all seen we've read post-apocalyptic books, video games, scenarios that play out on television series, documentaries. What if something happened to this world and maybe there's only 5,000 to 10,000 people left in the world, and we have to start from scratch, and you find yourself alone, completely alone, and you have to build a new life in this new environment, in this new world, completely alone from scratch. You have nothing. There is no such thing as money. There is no such thing as dating sites. There's no such thing as jobs. No more cars. No more airplane flights. No more McDonald's. No more Netflix. It's just you and nature out in the world having to survive. I like this exercise. I like to think of this all the time. How would you fare? Ask yourself that question. How long would you survive and thrive in this new environment when you have absolutely nothing and no one to back you up? When you think about just a simple scenario of where's your next meal going to come from? There's no grocery stores. Would you be able to locate and find food? And what good does it do to eat if you have no shelter? There are no hotels. There are no houses. You got to build your own shelter. How would you do that? You need supplies. You're going to need a lot of supplies. What are your gathering skills like? You're going to need to have some maintenance skills. How do you build? Do you know what that's like? You're going to need to protect yourself and defend yourself from people who want what you have. Are you physically capable of doing that? You're going to have to be intelligent enough to know the outside world and know how to adapt to your environment. Do you have that knowledge? You're going to need the common sense to know when someone's trying to fuck you over or not. Do you feel like you have that? You're going to need empathy when somebody's in trouble. You may need to save them. Do you have that? I can go on and on and on. That just does not apply to a post-apocalyptic science fiction film. That applies to this world we live in right now. There is literally no difference. You are doing the exact same thing. The only difference is you have an abundance of resources. When you get hungry, you don't have to go search for it. All you got to do is search for the flashing lights of the fast food restaurants if you want a quick meal, or the grocery store. You don't have to build a shelter. You can just go up to your room and get in the bed. You don't have to worry about protecting yourself. You got people around you that will save you if you get in too much trouble, or not. But you have the opportunity. You have things that you can fight with. You have a phone to call the police if you have to. You don't have to have all this abundance of knowledge. You have your phone in your hand. You can look up whatever you want. You don't have to have common sense when you're dealing with people. You can ignore people and act like they don't exist. The difference between the two scenarios is an overabundance of things that makes you comfortable. And we lose sight as individuals of what we truly don't have. Because we're looking at all the stuff that we do have. We're not looking at all the stuff that we don't have. We're not looking at that our knowledge needs to be strengthened. That our bodies need to be in peak condition just in case something like that happens. That we have to work on our communication skills and our empathy to be able to negotiate what we need. That we need to know we can build something on our own without the help of other people. Just think about it. If all that was stripped away, how would you fare? I would say 90% of this world wouldn't fare very well. The people that would fare are the people who don't have all this stuff. I say it all the time. If the civilization was to collapse right now, our current way of life, this world model we have right now, space travel, all this money and all these events and stuff that we do, access to medicines and all this stuff that we have, if it was all go away, your smartest bet would be go to the one place that people avoid and act like they're primitive. And that would be to go to any place that does not have cell phones. That don't even know what a cell phone is. That means go find yourself some place where people have lived outside in the wilderness. You want to be making your way to any place where somebody has survival skills. If we're in the United States, you want to try to get up to Alaska as soon as possible. You want to get up north where people have been through the shit. You want to go down south. You don't want to stay on the equator because we have it easy on the equator, it seems like, all the way around the world. You want to start going to the places where people know how to survive, and you pick their brains and you learn how to survive. Again, that's no different than what we're doing now. We need to learn, and in that case, it's considered surviving. In this case, with the overabundance, it's called thriving. We're not surviving anything with all this overabundance of stuff. That word surviving shouldn't even be allowed for people who have access to jobs and cars and bank accounts and McDonald's and Netflix. You're not surviving shit. You're just thriving in an environment where life is so easy for you. And then you look at people and you ask them, is your life good? Nope, my life sucks. And I'll name it. Do you have this? Yes, I do. Now, how does your life suck? Your life does not suck. You've determined that your life sucks because you want it to be better than this, or you're judging it against the neighbors, or you're judging it against what you used to have. Maybe you did have more in the past, but your life does not suck right now. Trust me, it doesn't suck. Go out to Skids Row in any major metropolitan city, and you'll see what suck really looks like. Go to any third world country, and you'd see what your definition of suck really looks like. And to them, you're insulting them because they don't feel their lives suck. To them, they're surviving and also thriving at the exact same time. It's relative. It's perspective. So how do we get back to the empowerment topic? That all ties into this. You're empowered to have what you have, but you also have to generate it. And we can equally take that mindset and flip it and say, you're taking everything you have for granted. If you can't do all this stuff that you have on your own. So if you live in a house and you don't feel like you could keep that house on your own without the support system, it wouldn't be a bad idea to start thinking of ways of how you could generate that same outcome on your own. If there's something someone else knows and you don't know it, you have to you have to create that for yourself. You need to get that knowledge. If you're better communicating, you have to create that. Because it's not good to just lean on other people to the point of, if they were to leave your life, you would sink. And we've all gone through it. That's how we know that this is a real thing. Anyone who's gone through something like that, where you've lived a life and all of a sudden it's gone, and now you realize, I'm not capable of sustaining this on my own. I've been through it multiple times in my life. It's a wake-up call. But what happens after that? Something should kick into gear, or something should shift you into a new frame of mind where you say, all the things that I liked and I had, I can get that on my own. I don't need this person or these people to help me do it. It may take me a long time to do it, but I can do it my fucking self. I don't need anyone to help me. Now, I'm going to need some help along the way to get it, because we're always going to need help. You're always going to need help. Even in a post-apocalyptic world, at some point, you're going to need some help from someone. But the goal is to be self-sufficient as possible. The autonomy for you to be able to survive and thrive on your own at the exact same time. What do you truly need and what don't you need in life? Because things get complicated when we're trying to add in things that we really don't need. If you're in a post-apocalyptic world, you're only going to drag and bring along what you need, because everything else is dead weight. It's holding you down. You don't need it. Unless you're going to use it in the immediate future, you're wasting time. You're wasting cargo space. If you're pulling a sled of stuff that you found in this new world and you're trying to thrive, you have too much on that sled. When danger comes and when you need to flee, you're not going to go very far or very fast with all that baggage behind you. Got to carry as minimum as possible. Only what you need. Only what you need. Everything else is extra, unnecessary, weighted down baggage. It may seem like you need it at the time, but you don't. Life is very simple that way. The more simple things are, the better things are. We look at people who are millionaires and billionaires. If you saw them walking around the street, most of the time, you would not be able to point them out. Because what's the point of showing everyone all this stuff? Like, I got money. Let me go and buy the most expensive suit and wear it around all the time for no reason at all. You're not going to do that. You've achieved and you're at peace. So everything becomes simple. That's the goal I know for me, is to make everything in my life as simple as possible. I don't need all of this shit I thought I needed in life. I don't need all the attention that I craved so much when I was younger. I don't need all of the money. And when I don't need all the money, that's when it comes. When you go searching for it, you lose it. When I didn't need to be in love, that's when it comes. When you go searching for it, you'll never find it. That's how the world works. But once we do have these things, now we can build. We can start building. We can start creating. We can start taking the things that we dreamed of and turning them into realities. People say that dreams aren't real. You can't turn your dreams into reality. That's bullshit. You can turn your dreams into reality. It may be a slightly different version of that extravagant dream that you had. Nonetheless, you still can take pieces of that dream and turn it into a reality. It's the commitment to yourself. And we all have empowerment in us. The question is what are we going to do with it? Are we going to take the opportunity and the gift of our life and do something powerful with it? Or are we going to squander it and just waste it away because we are so focused on what we have and trying to keep what we have, even if it's not good for us? We're not taking the tools and the things we learn each day and making sure that those things are used for growth only, and that anything that does not contribute to that growth has to be jettisoned, has to be thrown away, has to be exiled forever. It's a distraction. It's not needed in your life. We know we can survive with the greatest support. So you already have that side of it. You know you can survive if there's help, if there's a support system, if you have all the resources around you, you know you can do that. That's probably the best time to start testing yourself with what you don't have before you really test it without wanting to be. That's the worst feeling in the world, is when something happens in life, some chaotic moment, some chaotic situation, some chaotic relationship, and you're not prepared for what you're going through because you were just riding easy and riding dirty, and you didn't take the time to actually look at all those areas that you were faulty in, that was very flawed and just been covered up with all this stuff. You don't realize you can't cook because you've been to McDonald's for so long. When it's time for you to cook for yourself, you can't do it. It's just one of those things that we get so reliant on all these things. And I've made it a point in my life, and I'm actually getting to the point now where it's starting to hit very hard, that I really don't need as much as I thought I did. Really, really is an eye-opening thing, that how little you need actually to survive. Once you build upon things, again, we talk about people who make all their money and become billionaires and millionaires. Once you get all that, I mean, what are you going to do with it? And that's the whole thing. Do you need to keep adding on, or you say, okay, now you start feeling free. You start feeling free. The more options you get, you're like, hey, whatever. I'll do whatever, whenever, as long as it's aligned with what I'm doing and I'm not losing anything that's important to me. We have to get there first. We can't skip steps. We can't read a book and then say, I got it. We have to constantly keep going back over and over and over again, even on the things that we've learned, or you'll forget it. It's like muscle memory. If somebody gets into religion, you don't go to church one time and say, okay, I got it. No, you got to keep going. You have to keep being reminded. We all do. We forget so many things. So many things happens to us in a round of a year. Of course, you have to be reminded of things. It's important to remember is all the good things about yourself. Remind yourself as often as possible all the good things about yourself, what you're good at, what you're not so good at. But most importantly, if you know there are things that you're not good at, how does it benefit you to not address them? Because life is going to make you address those flaws at some point. That's just the way life works. And often it's too late for a lot of people when they get in a situation and wow, you have the opportunity to seal up those cracks, to fill in those holes in your life that you weren't so efficient at. And you chose not to because you already are good. Why focus on this thing over here? That's too difficult. I'm good. As long as I maintain this level of being comfortable, I am good. We tell ourselves that. And then reality hits us in the face and we realize we were not good. We weren't. It was imaginary. It was fantasy. Being prepared for anything is not just some throwaway line that coaches tell people. It's a real thing. You really do need to be prepared as much as possible for anything. Knowledge will help you with that. Your body being in very good physical condition helps you with that. Knowing some type of values or some kind of spirituality will help you with that. Being able to control your emotions and keep them in check and know how you feel and feel empathy for other people and be able to communicate effectively with other people. All of these things are part of the human experience. And if you're lacking in any one of those areas, you are going to run into trouble. You're going to run into trouble anyway, but you're really going to run into trouble if you ignore any of those areas for too long. Nothing is guaranteed to us, which is why I encourage that people take their empowerment seriously, take their autonomy seriously. Because you are one person. At any point, everything could go wrong and you could be completely alone. I know for a fact, I'm raising my hand very high because that's happened to me multiple times. You're not guaranteed anything. Life will give you what you need when you need it. Otherwise, life is going to be, not purposely, I don't think, testing you. It's going to be putting you through things, putting you through trials to see how you respond. It's just a way of looking at it. If that's really what's happening, we don't know. But it seems that way. Right when things are going well, something goes wrong. When something goes wrong, we learn from it. Things start turning back and going right. We're course correcting all the time. There's nothing malicious or evil about life. It's just the reality of it. We're no different than the squirrels running around trying to survive every single day. We're no different. We're all doing the same thing. We just have smartphones. The squirrel doesn't. But there is no difference. We don't have shit in life. We just believe that we do. Because we can touch things and we can walk inside of things and we can eat these things from these places that people make for us. But when you think about it, you really have nothing. It's getting to the point that we don't even have money. It's all invisible. You just get out a card. There's nothing on there. There's somebody in a bank with a computer system that says you have as much money as you do. You really have nothing. When you think about this, this is why creating and building upon who you are is so damn important. You have the opportunity every single day to keep getting smarter, to keep your body in shape, to keep your heart strong, to learn how to communicate, to adapt, to evolve, to survive and thrive, because sometimes both are needed, to challenge yourself at times, to not get complacent, to locate and fix those flaws in your life, to face your fears. These are all things that are needed in life, because that's when you're going to smile, when you know that you're preparing, you're leveling up every single day. You're learning and leveling up so you can laugh every single day. That's the whole reason why we're alive. I don't think we're all here on this earth to be miserable. We all have different perspectives and lives and cultures, but push all that away. What are you individually? What have you learned? What can you learn? What are you capable of? Because in the end, you are all that matters to you. Today we are pledging empowerment. The empowerment to look at whatever is in our life that's a void, that is failure, that is inadequacy, and we're going to fix it. That is our pledge. We are no longer going to allow things in our life that are taken away from our happiness to continue. We have to make it a focal point. We have to make them goals. We have all these outside goals. We got to empower ourselves through this pledge to make our bodies the goal, our minds the goal, our hearts the goal, our souls the goal. I'm pledging today with you, my mind is a goal, an indefinite goal. My body is an indefinite goal. My heart is an indefinite goal. My soul is an indefinite goal. We work on these things every day, not just on the new year. We're pledging that our bodies are the best material things in our lives, and we will take care of it. Our minds are the best things in our lives, and we have to take care of it. Our hearts are the best things in our lives. We have to take care of it. Our souls are the best things in our lives, and we have to take care of it. Protect it. And we are empowered to do so. That is our birthright to do so. We will not neglect our lives. We're pledging we will not neglect our bodies. It's time to grow. We're going to augment. We're going to ascend. We're going to do the things in life that are expected of us, but we're going to also attempt, even if we don't get past it, we're going to attempt to exceed those expectations through empowerment. We're empowering ourselves to get smarter, to get in better shape, to have empathy, to find our values. This is your day. You are here now. These are your moments. You own them. You are brave, bold, powerful. You do believe in yourself. You know you have more in the tank. You know the glass is half full. There's still more room for improvement. There is no end. Believe, believe, believe in yourself. Trust yourself. Trust that you can do whatever it takes to accomplish whatever you want from life. You don't procrastinate. You don't embellish. You don't lie. You are true to yourself always. Knowledge is in your mind. Peace is in your heart. Balance is in your body. Purpose is in your soul. You are greatness. The sky is not the limit. You have purpose, fulfilling, intentful purpose. You are here for a reason. You are unique. You are self-love, self-discipline, self-respect, self-control. You have self-awareness. You are joy, peace, and happiness. You are freedom, and you're connected to every person, place, and thing in the universe. And if no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.